Let's hear from heaven today by reading the scriptures. We're in Matthew chapter 6. We're looking at verses 9 to 14, the disciples' prayer. Last week we read the first part of verse 9, our Father in heaven. And we looked at how that is, we should look at that as God's paternity or God's fatherhood. This week we're going to be looking at the second part of verse 9, and that is God's priority. So it'll be the first verse, the first line would read, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. So what does God's name mean? All right, so this doesn't mean what we call him. We call him God, we call him our Father. That's not what that means. What this means is who he is. So let's look at the Old Testament in the book of Exodus, and we'll see God speaking to Moses, and God will describe to Moses who he is and what his attributes are. Exodus chapter 34, verses 5 to 7. The Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him, Moses, and proclaimed the name the Lord. The Lord passed in front of him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God who is compassionate and merciful, very patient, full of great loyalty and faithfulness, showing great loyalty to 1,000 generations, and listen to this, forgiving every kind of sin and rebellion. So you see, this confirms that what we learned in the last lesson is that God is our Father. He is our Daddy who loves us. Now, what does it mean to hallow his name? Now, the original Greek word, the Greek word in the original text is hagios, which means to make holy, to sanctify, to set apart. Now, sanctify means to set apart as a different, as, let me restate that. Sanctify means to set apart as different, not the same. And this is how we need to approach God, that he is different from us and needs to be set apart as not like us. So start praying that way today. Pray that you know that God is not like you and he needs to be set apart because he is that holy. So next time we're going to be looking at verse 10 and God's program.